Hey guys, Windsor here, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different, and that's an unboxing and first impressions video of the Roland SPD-SX PRO. Now, as some context, working as a professional musician, I, for about 8 years, have used the Roland SPD-SX sample pad. That's a wonderful piece of kit and has allowed me to do any of the live sample triggering that I've needed to do. And just a few weeks ago and a few months ago, my SPD-SX recently started to develop a little bit of a fault. Like the LED would be a little bit intermittent and sometimes switch off, and some of the buttons would be a little bit unresponsive, which is a common fault with the SPD-SX that can develop over time. And you know, what do you expect if you have a plastic unit that's a trigger pad that you're beating the heck out of with sticks over time, and the wear and tear and the travel of it being moved around. So a few days ago, I went to Roland UK in London, checked out their new flagship store, and they very generously sorted me out with the new SPD-SX PRO. And today I want to unbox it for the very first time. So sit back and enjoy. Righty, here we go, a brand new SPD-SX PRO. So this is literally the first time that I'll be opening this, and let's see what lies within. So we have the box, and it's opening. And there we go. A few things. We have a power adapter and the plug. And that's obviously the unit. What do we have here? A quick start guide. Just scan the QR code and away you go. And we have a manual. All very straightforward. And let's unbox and unwrap the main thing. Okay. So SPD-SX PRO, completely unplayed and brand new. Looking at the front of the unit, for some perspective, I was wondering about, is this unit the same size as the SPD-SX? Because I have a flight case that I got that's pretty much exactly cut to the specifications of the SPD-SX. And to cut a long story short, Roland said, yeah, it's the same chassis. And if you look at the dimensions, it is actually slightly smaller than the SPD-SX, but we're just talking fractions of a centimeter in the length and the width of it. And it's pretty much the same basic layout as the SPD, and the key differences: one is there's a larger LED screen here, and I'll turn it on in a second, and the buttons are in a slightly different arrangement. You've still got the 9 different pads, the 6 main pads on the front and the 3 shoulder pads at the top of the unit. And with this device, the pad sensitivity has been increased, and pretty much in every other possible way, it's an upgrade from the regular SPD-SX, making this quite a no-brainer. Again, there's double the memory. I think the SPD-SX had 16 gigabyte of storage space, and this Pro model has double that with 32. But wait, there's more. So if we have a look at the back of the unit, those of you familiar with the regular SPD-SX will start to notice already that there are considerably more inputs here. The main difference, in getting straight to it, is that there are more inputs, whereas the SPD-SX had 4 or 2 slots for the input triggers. This has 4, and there are more outputs as well. And also with this, there is a new feature which is right here. We have an input for a hi-hat controller, which is a new upgrade, and it's pretty cool because when you add a lot of new pads to this, you have more options for triggering sounds. With these 9 pads on the front and all the other inputs, I believe you can have up to 19 playing surfaces in total if that's something that you wanted. And with the hi-hat controller and a foot controller, you could use this unit as a standalone kit, essentially. Now, I'm not going to be getting into actually sound demos of this today. I just wanted to show you what it's like to unbox and give you a brief tour around the unit. So again, you know, you could use this as a standalone kit, you just sitting with the SPD in front of you with a hi-hat and perhaps and more likely bass drum trigger in front of you, which could work really well for example, an acoustic part of a set that you do, or just a standalone acoustic set with a smaller kit config. And of course, there are more options when you play with a band and integrate this with your kit, which I'm guessing the vast majority of users are going to do. So I'll just turn the unit on, I'll plug it in and switch it on just so you can see a little bit more about that. So power cable is now connected, and let's switch the unit on with this little on and off switch right here. So here we go. Roland. A lot of colour. Now, one of the obvious, or maybe not an obvious if you've not seen these pads before, but a new feature for this that's pretty impressive is the LED lights that are built into this unit. And one thing about the previous SPD is there were not lights like this on it, and that led to a lot of drummers using luminous tape when live, like glow-in-the-dark tape, so they could clearly see where all the pads were. Now, this upgrade for the unit, again, it's based on years of feedback on the previous SPD-SX, now really addresses that and makes it much more user-friendly and easier to play. And all of these lights are customizable, so you can change the color, etc., vertical and horizontal, and that can make your life a lot easier. Now, just having a look at the user interface and zooming in a bit, let's just get a little bit more focus there. Yep, so you've got the kits. The first one's the dance one that's here, and an immediate difference at a glance is you can see where all of the pads are and what relative samples and sounds that you have assigned to each one. So that adds to some clarity right away. And again, with sounds and samples on this, the SPD-SX PRO, there are 1,550 preloaded sounds in there. So you've got a broad palette of sounds in your arsenal, in your repertoire that you can use, and it can take a while to go through them all, but that's part of the fun of it, you know, just finding the right sounds for the right situation in the right context. Now, again, here we go. We've got a few different things, you know, master, phones, and click. That's similar. One of the main differences is that with the master effects, there is one knob, one controller, as opposed to two on the previous SPD-SX. And again, similar functions here: menu, shift, exit, enter, kit selection, and value changing knob, which is all similar, but slightly tweaked from the SPD. And a lot of these, the menus have many different layers to them, which you can access via these buttons at one click, with changing the tempo, etc. And again, you know, it's very simple to move between kits. And again, just as an example, you know, there are, you know, pre-assigned lighting patterns for each kit here, which, you know, it's all customizable, and the kits change very quickly as well. So that's a definite upgrade. Every little microsecond, that'll it can add up. So the less you have to wait about, and the quicker you can access the magic of your presets, then all is well with that. So basically, yeah, that's a quick overview of and first impressions of the SPD-SX. Again, if you're familiar with an SPD-SX already, you'll get that it's quite intuitive and simple to use, and there's readily available tutorials on the Roland website, and the manuals are available, etc. And again, this one, another bonus feature, well, an upgrade, is the new app, which is the SPD-SX PRO app, called aptly, that's more intuitive and an upgrade over the previous. And really, that's the gist of what it looks like to unbox an SPD-SX PRO and what it looks like. So here's to you who have found that fun, enjoyable and informative, and I'm off to do some programming for the tour I have, which starts a week today with the Hugh Cornwell Band. So more updates to follow. Thank you and have fun. Hey guys, just a quick addendum to the video that my SPD-SX PRO is now up and running. After the unboxing, I downloaded the SPD-SX PRO app. It's pretty straightforward to use once you find it. There are a lot of customizable features on that you can tweak to your heart's content. And one other really cool feature about the SPD-SX PRO is the variety of file formats that it accepts for samples. If you are an SPD-SX user, you'll probably be aware that it's pretty picky about what it accepts, like WAV files specifically, I think 16-bit and 44.1 kilohertz format. Well, it's much simpler and straightforward with the SX PRO. Pretty much any format it accepts and readily takes on board. And yeah, it took me about a couple of hours to download the Pro app, get that up and running, go through the samples for my upcoming tour set that I'm doing in just over a week from now. And it was pretty simple. And again, I did do some relabeling of files in my library, so it would probably take even quicker if I didn't have to do that. And again, it's very intuitive to use, and I really look forward to taking this baby out on tour very soon. One other thing that I didn't mention in the main video, that's a small point but one worth considering, is that the mounting plate that's on the SPD-SX is compatible with the SPD-SX PRO, and that's one less thing to worry about if you're thinking about, do I need a new mounting plate? So there we have it, the SPD-SX PRO, a very cool piece of kit, and I'm sure will be the new industry standard, which it pretty much is rapidly becoming that in terms of Roland samplers, and is a great piece of kit. So here's to your enjoyment of this video. If you've enjoyed it and found some value in it, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and like the video. And again, on my channel you can check out various examples of me drumming throughout the years with artists such as Hugh Cornwell, bands like Wishbone Ash, etc., as well as podcasts and many other wisdom nuggets that I share from time to time. And that's about it for just now. So have fun, enjoy sampling in an SPD-SX PRO if it calls to you, and stay groovy, and I'll speak with you soon.